Dash Adams Diary, November 11th, 2287. It seems that helping young Travis has gained me a reputation as a problem solver around Diamond City. One Ellie Perkins approached me about her boss, Nick Valentine, a local finder of missing persons who had managed to become one himself. The pay she offered was good, and science doesn't always come cheap, so I accepted the job and set off to find him. I tracked him down in Vault 114, where he'd been taken captive by a gang of mobsters called the Triggermen. Freeing him, I was shocked to find that the man is a synth, and one that's not trying to kill me. Oh, if Ellie had told me that, I'd have tracked him down for free. Questions of science had to wait, however, as Nick was on a case. He'd been tasked with returning a woman named Darla, presumably a captive of the Triggermen, to her family, and I offered to help. It soon came out that, far from a victim, she was a willing member of the gang and their leader's gun mall, and after that, negotiations deteriorated. Nick was pretty cool about it, though, and after we swapped backstories, him, a discarded Institute prototype turned private eye, me, a widowered human popsicle with a hard-on for science, he offered to track down the goons who kidnapped Sean, since my description made him think they may have been Institute. I wasn't sure at first.
They might still have your Sean. Seriously, Chief? You don't care that your flesh and blood might be alive?
To be honest, I was already halfway to declaring him a lost cause before I got frozen.
Aren't these the guys who murdered your wife?
Revenge! But he talked me into it. According to Nick, a mercenary and former resident of Diamond City named Conrad Kellogg matched the description of my wife's killer. After failing to sweet-talk the key to his residence out of the mayor's secretary, I decided to pull out all the stops to convince the mayor himself. Ah, you need charisma drug. For you, my friend, we have charisma drug literally going into the ass. I think you mean figuratively coming out of the ass. Ah, I see this your first time taking charisma drug. The great mentats Vadim sold me were effective, if uncomfortable. Remember, kids, winners don't do drugs. Except for me. I use drugs, and when I do, I tend to win. Kellogg's key in hand, I was able to give Lieutenant Barkley the scent of the man's cheap cigars, and we tracked him to Fort Hagen, where he was guarded by a veritable army of synths. Crash test dummy-looking, easily breakable synths. When we finally cornered Kellogg, I briefly considered letting him live in exchange for information about the Institute, but he wasn't in a cooperative mood, and I admit, I didn't put too much effort into selling him on the idea. I'd been sort of hoping he'd want to do things the hard way. Taste my vengeance, you wife-murdering fuck! As we left the place, we learned that the Brotherhood of Steel, having gotten their collective stainless steel panties in a proverbial twist over the threat of the Institute, were responding in force. My radio confirmed that all leave had been canceled and all auxiliaries were being called in, so I set off for the Brotherhood's new staging area at Logan Airport. Now, I'd already had my reservations about the Brotherhood and found them largely reinforced. Their archivists seemed more interested in suppressing knowledge than preserving it. Their leader, Elder Maxwell, placed a disturbing emphasis on blind loyalty over rational inquiry. And then there's this guy who's apparently just a Nazi. Given that I'd made a solemn vow to the memory of my dead friend Captain Ironsides, who I'd murdered, to pay more attention to the ethical implications of my actions, I was already composing my letter of resignation in my head when they offered me an intact pre-war full suit of T-60 power armor. Oh, say happy birthday to RNGesus, cause it must be motherfucking Christmas. Promising Nick, who they tolerated about as well as my old grammar teacher tolerated the Oxford comma, which he called the Oxford commie, that we were going AWOL the minute they ordered me to do anything even slightly evil, I gratefully accepted my new power armor and next assignment. Come on, play it.
No.
Play it.
What makes you think I even have it?
You're a chopper pilot, you have it, don't bullshit me, just play it.
God, I hate you fucking jarheads.
Ah, what a fine day for science! Hi everybody, Ben Creighton, creator of Dash Adams Science Hero. I hope you're enjoying the show. Good news, I quit my day job, so now I'm a full-time freelance video editor. Bad news, that means I have to hustle my ass off if I want to continue to have a roof over my head, which directly conflicts with the amount of time I would much rather be spending making fun shit to put on YouTube. You can help. I started a Patreon. If you have some extra money kicking around from Christmas or whatever, click the Patreon link, check out the rewards and the goals, see if you want to help a brother out. If you cannot afford to do so, I understand, shit's rough out there, but like, favorite, share, subscribe. I know it's a cliche, but it really does help. Thank you for the support, and I'll see you next episode.